Welcome back. We're here with Dalia from Tranquil Touch in Perrysburg, Ohio. Dalia, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Of course.
So, when someone comes into your studio to get a massage, how do you make sure they feel comfortable and welcomed?
Yeah, of course. So when they first come in, I typically ask how they've been, and then I'll show them my space. I'll go through what in school we call the traditional metrics, which is uh, letting them know how to sit on the table, what the course of action would be for them if they come in saying, hey, I'm planning on a focus of neck, back, and shoulders. I'll explain to them how I get to that. I ask about pressure and if there are any injuries or sensitivities that they have as well. I let them undress and then I come in a few minutes later after a quick knock and we start our session.
And I feel like a lot of people, especially if they're new to the massaging industry, they might get a little nervous coming in.
Yeah, your first time is always like the most nervous. I know when I actually first started school, I had never gotten a professional massage. So a lot of people were like, what are you doing in massage? And I was like, it just seems like my calling. It seems like this is what I need to do. And my first therapist, she sat down and explained everything, being like, okay, just down to your level of comfort and sit facing the ceiling and just relax and breathe deeply. And I try and teach my clients how to do that so they can get the best out of their massage.
And how is a massage a balance between art and science?
Yeah, so there is anatomy, of course. Like I do have a medical degree, it's a medical license through the state of Ohio. So there are certain things like pushing the blood towards the heart. You always have to do that. If you have lymphedema, there's certain practices to do lymphatic drainage. We are working with the muscles and your skeleton, so we also have to be mindful of that. But you can really do that any way that you want. I know for me, I took a lot of influence from a lot of martial art films, so I took their techniques and I slowed them down and lengthened them. So for me, that's where I find my art form. Other people, they like more sports massage, which is a very specific like type of massage certification that you could get on top of your base license. Other people, they think of it more like a dance where they want it slow and then fast and slow and fast. And other people just go off of intuition, like this is what it feels like I need to do for this. As long as you're hitting your traditional like metrics, as we call it, always pushing blood towards the heart, making sure that the pressure is appropriate for the area. Like never do deep pressure on the neck or kidneys, stuff like that.
And do you think there's a spiritual side when it comes to massages?
Yeah, I think there definitely could be if you wanted there to be. I know some people also do Reiki during their massage. There is always going to be an energy transfer. In school we always learned energy can't be created or destroyed. It gets moved. So there are some times where like if somebody comes in with a lot of heavy energy or maybe they're just going through a lot, I can definitely pick up on that through my massage because I'm manipulating the muscles that, they need to have worked on. And some people like to put some good energy in there, hopefully only good energy. Other people, they just, kind of turn a blind eye to that and they're just like, I'm here for purely scientific. Yeah. I think it is whatever you want it to be. You can grasp, if you're spiritual at least, you can grasp that energy in every form, like in your morning cup of coffee, you're like, this is my spiritual practice. A massage can be your spiritual practice. There are so many different ways to go about it.
And is that something that you're really mindful of, is like that energy transfer when people come in for a massage?
I do try to be mindful of it, more so for like my own safety, I suppose is a good way of saying it. At the end of the day and between massages, I'll burn like Palo Santo and cleanse the energy and make sure that I cleanse my energy and I come as neutral as I possibly can for my next client and then also for myself, so I'm not carrying all of those energies that I've worked on throughout the day back home and to the grocery store or wherever else I'm going.
And what are some rubbing techniques you do to make sure you're getting deep in people's muscles?
Yeah, so there's three main techniques. There's effleurage, which are long strokes. You have petrissage, which is more deep kneading, and then tutopements, which is tapping or percussions. So if somebody needs deeper pressure, I typically will use my forearms and elbows to get, for petrissage, to get that kneading motion. For tatotements, you typically use, here, let me put this down. You typically use the side of your hand, and that's like the karate
yeah.
chops, or the base of your palm, and you'll hit that way to get deeper. You can also, there are like different tips and tricks that you can do. You can lower your table, so then when I'm doing my massage, it's just gravity pushing down, so it adds my weight plus some gravity to get in deeper. If you have a hydraulic table, that's really good because you can move it up and down that way. You can also use the client's body to your adjustment. So in some of my massage, I will put like my knee up on the table and I'll like stretch their arm back to go and get deeper pressure, because it's then again like gravity coming down and then them like putting their weight fully down on me as well.
So there's a lot more that goes into it than just a at-home massage.
Yeah, well, definitely a lot more. Going back to that point of like there's science and
Yeah.
art to it. You have to be mindful of certain things.
And what would you say the difference between a Swedish massages versus a therapeutic massage?
Yeah, so Swedish massage is just pure relaxation. It's, hey, I want to come in and just forget for an hour. So it would be mainly, effleurage, those long strokes, some petrissage if we do find, some tension areas. But then with therapeutic, it would be like if you came in and said, hey, I have a lot of issues in my lower back. Can you help relieve that tension? So I would go and work mainly on those, doing deeper pressure, doing petrissage, tatotements, different techniques like that. In school, they taught us both, so most therapists that you go to, they know both. It kind of goes in one. A good way to think about it as well is like what type of pressure that you enjoy. If you like lighter to medium pressure, that's typically going to be more Swedish massage, but if you want firm to deep pressure, that's typically more therapeutic.
What I find super interesting is how there's a niche in everything, and it goes so deeper than, like I said, than just getting a massage at home by your parents or your wife, and it's very fascinating to see that there's so many deeper things that you guys look at when you guys are taking on a client versus just, hey, I'm going to come in and give this guy a regular massage.
Right. And then on top of that point, we also have so many different modalities. Like you can get into prenatal massage, you can get into sports massage, deep tissue, you can get into Thai. There's certain massages where they only use their feet. And that's full gravity. They have bars up on the ceiling and they kind of hang off of those. It's interesting seeing how many different avenues you can get, and most people are just like, oh, you just do massage. It's like, no, I can do so many different types of massage. It just depends on what therapist you go to.
And you saw the Sheepdogs play in 2019,
Yes.
and one of their lyrics says, "Is your dream worth dying for? You best be sure before you knock on that door." Is this a practice that you've put into your own life of sacrificing for your dreams?
Yeah. So before massage, I actually worked in corporate healthcare. And I think a lot of people thought it was really crazy that, I got my bachelor's from the University of Toledo, and I was like, great, now I'm going to climb the corporate ladder. And I started doing that. And then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, guys. I think I want something else for myself. And I think in any endeavor, regardless if it was being a barista at Starbucks, working in corporate healthcare, or my massage practice now, I gave it 100% effort. All of these jobs and people I've met are here to teach me lessons. And when I think back about kind of my career path, it all seems like divine timing, where I went and got my business degree. I started my first business, which was successful by many metrics, but I didn't want to pursue it after a few years. And then I decided to go back to school, and that previous business degree and then previous business taught me so much and introduced me to so many people that it set me up for success in this practice. So I think going full in wholeheartedly is the best way of doing it, and just trying to be present and see what you can learn. And you might not learn it right away. I know I've definitely sat up at night been like, this just now clicked. I was supposed to meet this person so I could do this 3 years later. And I think that's a really beautiful thing when you kind of zoom out and look at the big picture.
And even when bad things happen, like you might look at it in the moment, be like, oh, I lost this job or I lost this opportunity. But then, like
Yeah.
you said, you look back and you are very grateful because this guided you to the path that you're on now. And I think a lot of people, I think that's kind of what going all in looks like is I'm going to try to do whatever I can to make this happen. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, then I'm going to shift my focus to the next thing that I want to
Yeah.
pursue or I want to go after.
And I think, people say all the time, rejection just means redirection.
Yeah.
I never really subscribed to this idea of like mistakes or, there's good or bad. Like it can't be that black and white. The only mistake would be, if I got fired from a job or it wasn't in my alignment, if I just moved on and didn't learn anything from it, if I didn't try to find that silver lining or however you want to phrase it, that's the mistake, because you can learn just about anything from any experience that you have. It's just about perspective at that point.
Absolutely. And you had a Turkish grandfather that passed away. Do you think he would be proud of you for the life that you're living?
I think he would be incredibly proud. He would definitely agree that I'm still pretty feisty, pretty stubborn, but it's good to be assertive in that sense where it's like I know what I want and I know how I'm going to go about it. He was actually a business major as well. He worked at the University of Cambridge for a bit, and he taught me a lot of business techniques and how to really advocate for myself. And I think especially as a young woman, having your own private practice, that's very important, especially in massage, figuring out how to be assertive without being, overly domineering or mean or anything, and then respecting their boundaries and your boundaries.
I have two more questions for you.
Okay. Yeah.
If you could have dinner with two people, one person from the past
Okay.
and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
One person from the past and one person from the present. I'm trying to think about this.
This stumps every guest.
Yeah. One person from the past. Like that has passed on, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
From now
Or, like,
until,
just-
the beginning of time. Whatever you think the beginning of time is.
Okay. I would probably say like Buddha from the past. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of cliche, but I feel like if you get into any like spiritual, philosophical stuff like that, they how do I describe it? It's like they believe that you have to go through great pain or great hardships in order to get like divine downloads or like great feedback from the universe. And I kind of feel like if I sat down with him, I would understand that a little bit more because I definitely do see it, but they have like such an extreme approach. Like, some monks, they will like go up to the mountain and don't eat or sleep for like 30 days just to get like this divine alignment. Certain tribes in Africa, they'll stick their bodies in like fire ants to feel immense pain in order to unlock like that next level that we're not able to in our like day-to-day lives in this vessel that we have. So I feel like I'd want to talk to him and be like, how did you figure this out? And like get some enlightenment in that way. And then from present day, I feel like I would want, this is such a goofy answer, but I feel like I would want to get dinner with Jeff Goldblum because
Okay.
he's just a quirky guy. I feel like we would probably get along pretty well because we're both very laid back, very silly. I feel like he is also one of those people where it's like, I don't know how old he is, probably like 60. He's not that old. But he has probably lived like a million lives in this single life. And I think when people hear my story, they're just like, you've done so much and you're only 25. And I'm like, I'm just kind of going with it. So I feel like he would also be one of those guys, and he's super funny. So it would be an enjoyable dinner.
You feel like you could relate to him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
Yeah, so it just kind of made sense to do it with having my own private practice and still being in like those baby beginner steps. It's really important to get referrals and to be accessible to as many people as you possibly can. And I'm also very mindful of the fact that with massage, a lot of people see it as a luxury, even though it's not. It's self-care, it's preventative care. We can, as massage therapists, we can help a lot of people with their day-to-day ailments or even chronic issues that they have before they have to go to the doctor and get invasive surgeries. But it's also expensive, you know, $80 for an hour. Some people can't justify that. So doing the discount program allows it so they can offer, you know, I can offer these benefits to them while they also get, you know, a cheaper rate. And then at that point, we can talk about what their plan of action is, what I could do for them, what they might need to continue to do, and we can negotiate like what works best for them. But some people are intimidated to get that first massage because it's like, what if it doesn't do anything? What if it hurts me? You know, so making it easily accessible for other people is a really big thing.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And those are the questions I have. How can people find you? And what is one thing you want to leave people with?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. It's Tranquil Touch Massage. And then one thing that I want people to leave with is more confidence in themselves. I know a lot of times people come in and they're sitting like a shrimp, slumped shoulders, they're stressed out. But after the massage, you can tell that they're walking taller, that they feel better. And I want them to always be able to advocate for themselves, like in the massage, outside of the massage, and have that confidence to be like, I can take up space.
Yeah, well, awesome. Dalia, thanks for coming on.
Nice.